Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the... I say welcome back every time again. Jesus Christ. I mean, we are back at it again with the Ginetta GT5 season this time. It's been a little bit of a switcheroo this time. I am not King Kodiak, as you can hear. We actually have him in the game. Here he is. So he's opted to not commentate on this race. So it's gonna have a keen eye and see if the commentators are actually up to snuff and in the racing here. So I'm not alone in the commentary box. I have with me the legendary Fistopheles that's been with me in the whole season 10 of GT3 Tier 2. So we really
Ladies and gentlemen,
welcome back to the commentary. Welcome. This is going to be a little bit of a switch up with me and him instead of Fizzy and Kodiak. So are you here, Fizzy? I mean, Fisto?
Oh yeah, I'm here, and I'm excited. This is going to be great. Alright, first things first though, like you said, shout out to King Kodiak for actually racing in this. I was talking to him yesterday and he didn't actually expect to get into Tier 1, so he's a surprise visit from the commentary box now in the race. We're currently watching him on his first official qualifying lap in Tier 1 and his first official qualifying lap, I believe, on AOR livestream. I'll pull up the stream right now.
Yeah, he's usually the one that streams the other special events as well, so this might be the first time. Oh,
so let's see what kind of lap time he can put out.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention these cars though. This is going to be so much different compared to the GT3 racing we've seen, because you know these cars don't really have any aero to speak of, and they're also underpowered. So we're just going to see, as you can see now, all the cars are just going to be so clumped up. So
you great for racing as King Kodiak actually slows down as to not hit the car in front of him. It seems we currently have qualifying even. This is qualifying. What you have to remember is cars without aero or power are reliant on slipstreaming, which will make this racing very close indeed. So it'll be interesting to see which drivers can pull ahead and which ones can't. And I think we're up for some great action here in AOR Tier 1.
Absolutely. I'm just I think we're gonna have a look down the order here. I was trying to get familiar with the drivers and their liveries. T-Mac, are you familiar with him? I'm just trying to remember if I've seen anyone.
I have not seen T-Mac in at least an hour GT3 League. Of the drivers whose name I am familiar with, 5 Aces Nesterovic, who was a Tier 1 GT3 driver, I believe. I do not know if he raced last season. WNBR Martin, whom we know from GT3 Tier 2, joining us last season.
See that pad right there?
See that pad, exactly. Last season at Spain, I believe that was round 5. Other than that, like I said, we know King Kodiak. Some of you may have heard of 2 Desert Puck as well. I have raced him in one of the evaluation races for Season 9 GT3. But other than that, actually we do know another driver, currently in position 5, namely Dakuza. I believe he's racing here as well. What was his position? 4th in the championship?
Yeah, something like
GT3, Tier 2, Season 10? 4th or 5th? I don't have it. I can't recall it off of the top of my head, even though it's only 1 week ago.
Yeah, he was a midfield fighter in Season 9, and then he improved a shit ton in Season 10, so it's gonna be cool to see if he improves even more here and starts, but yeah,
as he goes very wide on the exit of turn 1. You can see a car in the back doing the same thing as well, so it seems to be the fastest line. The question is if these cars will receive penalties doing so. We haven't seen that so far yet. We might see it in the race. Yeah.
Yep.
So far we currently have T-Mac on in P1 with a 149.6, followed by Hunter, CAT Hunter, with a 149.8, and Zero Stefan with a 149.9.
Hey, that's actually cool to see him up here. He was a Tier 5 coordinator, I think, in GT3, so cool to see him in Tier 1.
Indeed.
Campo. I just realized that we have some Tier 1 drivers from GT3 here, so I think we have a fairly spread out field. We have Adalexis, he was a very fast Tier 1 driver, I think, so we're probably gonna see him up there. Dakusa, Tier 2 GT3 driver. Desert Pack is a GT3 Tier 1 driver as well. Kodiak, our streamer, fellow commentator. Where did you say Nesterovic was?
I believe he was a Tier 1 GT3 driver.
Yeah, okay.
At least I've seen him on some of the live streams. I did not watch any of Season 10, as we were streaming them ourselves. But I do believe he was racing in Season 8 or Season 9.
Is that car smashed up on your screen as well?
That car is indeed smashed up on my screen as well.
Oh, that's DG though. He was in Tier 2 in Season 10, so...
The only Ginetta driver we had, as his
yeah,
name would
wasn't
imply, he is currently driving a Ginetta.
Yeah, but that name is just so fitting for this league. He probably waited for this league for ages. Yeah, so we have... Is that an L or I? I'm just gonna guess it's an I. Isir?
I would say that is an I, yes.
Yep. Berserk. Oh, speaking of Berserk, he was about to go wider, but he managed to keep it together. And then we have Storm, our fellow GT3 driver that graduated to Tier 2 from Tier 4 or 3. I think it was from Tier 4. So, oh, definitely a developing driver that's certainly getting faster and faster. Capo sounded a little bit familiar. Might be because I'm so familiar with Kappa and everything, but yeah, just gonna call him Kappa. There's Martin, our pad driver again. He's looks like he's struggling a little bit here in qualifying. He's quite far off the pace.
Currently 17th, so we don't even have him on my standings at the moment.
We have ghosting on, I think.
It seems we do have ghosting on.
Yeah, so lobbies and things are going to be a little bit messed up, of course, in the first races, as we have a new host, and that's Flask, and that's that could actually be a fat in Sweden, it's Swedish, I mean, and as in fat in.
I believe
bacon.
you would be more of an expert than me,
yeah,
because I do not speak Swedish, nor do I speak any other Nordic language.
So that's bacon in Swedish, I think. So we have bacon.
We have bacon.
Yep. I was just checking out the guys that haven't set a lap time yet, and he just set the time of 51.2. Gixxer, he is a Tier 1 driver, wasn't he, in GT3?
No, Gixxer was not a Tier 1 driver. I believe he was either Tier 3 or Tier 4. We know him possibly as one of the friends of Shaggy Dan, who was a Tier 2 driver, as we remember him. Other than that, I do not know all that much about him.
Isn't Gixxer a mod in Shaggy's stream? Or
I do believe he is.
Yeah, that might be where I've seen him. So, T-Max still dominating dominating here. Man, I can't.
We say dominating, but he's only ahead by 0.2 of a second, so
yeah,
it's very close at the moment.
Yeah, but
fairly close.
Yeah.
Then again, it is a very short track.
Yeah, and these cars are going to be. I mean, I actually watched some of the Ginetta races on YouTube with the junior stuff. They're just. I think actually the real life races are going to be more intense than these ones, because those guys are just glued to each other's bumpers all across the track. Like the margins are just so tiny when you're driving these underpowered cars. So you really have to do everything you can to try and get ahead. So,
alright though. Speaking of Gixxer earlier, he was apparently the Tier 5 coordinator. So there we have it. And yes, indeed. KIN is King Kodiak, so we have possibly, I believe he's the head commentator for AOR, currently racing in Ginetta GT5 cars.
Excuse me for a second, I just read chat for a second. Were you talking about Kodiak or?
Exactly, there he is.
There he is. Yeah, okay, so I'm trying to learn deliveries. Isn't T-Mac blue? Oh, he's not blue. I'm trying to find his teammate.
Is it possibly
that's the guy in...
DAF?
Oh, that's probably him, though.
It's not...
Oh, it's not
DAF.
him. We are on the hunt here. Excuse the cameras. Oh, it's the Desert Pack. Okay. Yeah, that's a good combo. They're actually racing out now, qualifying. Can't really tell who that car behind is. Oh, and that car behind has gone wide.
There's two Desert Pack.
Yep, but the car behind.
Behind them?
Yeah, that was there was a car that went wide. But looking at so qualifying is now over. This is going to be the only qualifying of this season actually. So we're gonna have 10 minutes of qualifying now, and then we're gonna have a sprint race of 20 minutes. Then we're gonna have a main race of 40 minutes, and then gonna be a reverse grid from the sprint race again. So we're, I mean,
it'll be very interesting.
Interesting to say the least. I think this is going to be a hard commentating job because it's just going to be battles all over the place, and we really have it cut out for us now to try and really keep up with everything. So
yes,
here comes Bacon, chilling. They're chilling, every one of them. There we have it. T-Mac coming out. He's our host as well, so probably familiar with this track.
It's the host advantage.
Yeah, it's the host advantage, of course.
Clearly.
Yeah, but
although he seems to be struggling in the first sector compared to N2O DAF or DAF. So
he's a boss in sector 2 though.
He is indeed very fast in sector 2.
Yeah.
As we have the car now lining up on the grid, drivers selecting their setups. I believe they do have choice of setups in this league.
No, it's going to be fixed setup.
It is fixed setup. So they don't have the choice of a setup. So they're all driving the same car under the same conditions. We have a car bugging out back there. I can see it faintly. I believe that's Gixxer in the just white Ginetta. There we go.
What's going on here? Okay, he's actually pitting, it seems like 1,000,000 times a second, so...
Those are some fast pit stops we've got here.
Yeah. Oh man, have you seen the bugs in the F1 game before they were fixed?
I have not seen. I've heard of a controller bug with the T300 RS racing wheel.
Oh yeah. Well, the bug I've seen is just so hilarious. You drive past the excuse me, I just forgot to mention that we're probably running a formation lap here, so...
And somebody's going.
Yeah, this is... I'm a little bit confused right now. I think we're... oh, wait. Is it gonna be... No, it's not gonna be a reverse qualifying, or is it?
I don't believe it is. No, it is not. We have a standard formation up at the moment. You'll have to excuse us for our lack of knowledge. This is the first time. I haven't checked up much on the AR. I've been quite busy over this last week. So I've had very, very little time to prepare.
Yeah, Smoking Puppy says in chat that the setup choice is going to be between loose and stable, so probably not as much tuning as you would have liked, but yeah, so... yeah, I'm just... I can just see the liveliness of these cars already. It's just going to be so crazy in the first lap. I think we're going to go on the roof cam of some cars further back, so we can just try to get a semblance of what's going down in turn 1, so... try the roof cam here. Okay, so this, I think we're gonna try this for the race start. So they're probably reaching the formation
point right now. So the cars are going side by side, and once we reach the acceleration zone, it is up to T-Mac to decide when the race is underway. And let's wait and see what he does. And I do believe the race is underway. It's very hard to hear with these tiny engines. We've been having a few battles side by side into turn 1. So far, there's no contact. Actually, there is a bit of contact. I believe that's T-Mac's teammate Campo.
That's Bacon. I'm trying to catch him here. Oh, it's moving too fast.
It's Flask. It's Bacon. We've lost Bacon. No.
Oh no. I was trying to catch him in. Okay, moving back up again.
Moving back up again. T-Mac has actually managed to pull a bit of a gap in these first few corners. It'll be great for him if he can actually pull away from the group at the start, because that means they won't be able to draft off of him, and it'll be very hard to catch him indeed. Currently we have Dakuza in 7th, who is just behind 2 Desert Pack in 6th, and Adalaxis just a bit in front of those guys in 5th. We currently have a group fighting for 3rd position, as it seems. Group fighting for this coveted 6th position that 2 Desert Pack currently holds, and a few cars behind them as well.
And the Higgs boson has escaped from the CERN center. As you can see, he was trying to bolt down the inside of Dakuza there, or was outside it. Yeah. Looks like Higgs is slightly higher pace than Dakuza there, with 10th higher, lower lap speed than Dakuza here, so Ozone hard in the attacker trying to catch the position. We have a battle further back there. I'm trying to catch it. It's Inetta has been passed by Berserker, I think.
It seems so.
Oh.
It looks like Flask has now passed two of the cars that have passed him because he has spun off in turn 1. So he's made up 2 positions from that mistake he had very early on.
Yeah, that's Nesarovic and
and somebody's going
no.
off, and that looks like the end for Berserker.
Oh no.
It looks like he's been hit in the back. There's some damage to the rear of his car. There is an Nvidia sign, it seems, or is that, no, there's a monster sign on the track.
Oh, poor guy. Seems like we have, yeah. This is what I'm talking about. There's just insane battles,
insane battles at the
same time.
Yeah,
in crazy. So we have the Kusa still fighting with the Zero Stefan here and the Higgs boson.
And Higgs boson, they're trying to go 3 wide into turn 1. I don't think this will go very well, as the Kusa slows down and gets pushed out wide by, I believe that is.
Here comes King Kodiak.
King Kodiak has passed both of them, taking their mistakes to his advantage and moving up into 9th position. So great job by King Kodiak right there.
But here comes Stefan though. He's so
as King Kodiak is going slowly.
Probably gotta slow down.
Seemingly having to slow down and rejoining or going back on the racing line just in front of Icier. It seems like King Kodiak is struggling quite a bit. He might have some damage as his car is not going very fast at the moment.
Yeah, this is what we were talking about, like cars being glued to each other and not having that much power, so different lines coming through here.
King Kodiak goes very, very wide on the exit of turn 1, and Icier is going on the inside on Druids, I believe this corner is called.
Yeah, I have no idea. Here comes Bacon though, is on fire right now. He was last and now is in 14th. Instead of he actually set the blistering lap time considering the people he's around right now. He's at a 50-second lap time while the guys around him are setting 53s and 51s right now, so he's just tearing through the field right now. So I'm gonna have an eye open for him, try to watch him as he tears through the field, but at the same time though we're having battles all over the place right now with Nesarovic still fighting with the Kusa. This has been like a 3-lap battle right now, I think so. Yeah, this is going to be the predominantly what's going to be happening this season, because these cars are just insane. A little bit of a shunt behind there between.
And I do actually on the note of these cars I do believe you can actually buy as a consumer. I do believe Ginetta sells them as customer or cars for normal people, and I do believe they are actually road legal vehicles, which is an interesting concept. Usually not heard of. At least I haven't heard of any other company doing these things.
Here's Campo though.
The more you know.
2x2 and turn 1.
As
I'm trying to learn the names here. Boson. I'm just calling.
Is that Higgs boson?
Yeah, that's the Higgs boson.
The Higgs boson particle is going past Campo's 675. Just, I would say, blasting past with a big bang.
Very good. Yeah, okay, we're gonna get banned on YouTube soon, so yeah. Here comes the Storm now. I think that's his teammate in front of him there. They have really similar liveries, I think. So yes, those have to be teammates. The Storm and Campo, they're trying to keep it together and not ruin each other's race. I guess we're gonna have a Constructors' Championship this season as well, so yep, so easy to smash together in these cars as we've seen already. And we jump further back now with Bacon.
With Bacon right on the tail of Dakuza, who's just made a mistake and is going very wide into turn 1, losing out quite a few positions to Icier as well. It'll take a while for us to learn all the names, so bear with us with that. Dakuza currently having a penalty as well.
Bring up the timings here.
If you could bring up the timings, CAT Hunter has a 4-second penalty. Zero Stefan already has a 3-second penalty, and Dakuza only has a 1-second penalty at the moment.
Yeah, actually, I think we caught Stefan's penalty on stream there. He was forced wide, so he cut that corner really hard. So probably was from that. And here we have him, trying to learn the livery still. We have yeah, that's the Tesser pack in the front there. I was so Kodiak has now fallen back. It's in clean air, so setting 50-second lap times, 0.9. So doesn't have the pace to compete with the front really, but might get a fight in the midfield here. As the battle in front here is certainly not stopping soon, as we have the further back here and Icer. And Bacon has now moved up to 11th.
As Bacon is essentially giving Icer a tow, it seems, just pulling him through the field. Icer not having the best of qualifying, it seemed, but now actually doing very well during the race. Now being possibly attacking Nesterovic into turn 1, as Bacon has passed him already, to make sure that he still has that tow. Although even Nesterovic might have a comeback at Bacon, or Flask if you want. As Flask actually moves down the inside, and Nesterovic tries to outbrake him around the outside, which I don't believe that works in this corner. He might have the inside line, showing himself in the mirrors, putting pressure on Flask at the moment, who doesn't seem to be cracking though.
I just realized something from the chat, but Andrex told me that probably meant the team championship, because the constructors are only Ginettas, of course. So yeah, nice catch there. And Andrex actually said that King Kodiak is super sandbagging right now for the second race, because you know it's going to be reverse grid here. So
it will indeed.
If Kodiak keeps this up, he's going to be in the top 5 when the race starts. So might be a little bit of tactical sandbagging here, but yeah.
Very tactical indeed, as expected of the head commentator of the AOR commentary team.
Who was that though? That went off. I'm trying to find it.
It might have been WMDR Martin.
No, I think it was a white car.
It was a white car. It could have been Campo or Dakuza, as Dakuza is now very far in the back and 14th at the moment.
Oh no, are those teammates? No, they can't be. Yeah, I was just gonna say that. Well, that's very unfortunate if both of your both the teammates are in the back here, but seems like they're fine. So okay, back to this battle again. We have a train for 5th position right now with Tudesser pack in front and Bolsan behind, Stefan, Storm, and Campo. And here's Bacon, I guess, now in 10th. He's
followed fairly closely by 5 Aces, Nesterovic, and Icer. Although he has been able to pull a bit of a gap, it's very likely that once he runs into the back of the cars in front of him, the 2 guys behind him will catch him as well.
Trying to find this battler. I think, yeah, that's Campo and Stefan fighting there.
As it seems like they'll be going side by side into turn 1 with Campo having the inside line, which is the advantageous position into turn 1. So we'll possibly see Campo overtaking Zero Stefan for that coveted 8th position.
Yep, here he goes. He just shuts the door on Stefan there, so nice move by Campo there. Yeah, actually relatively calm now this race compared to what it was. It was just battles all over the place now, but seemingly a little bit of a gap has emerged.
Although we still do have some groups fighting for position here and there. We currently have 7 minutes left on the clock, so this first race will be 20 minutes and was 12 minutes and 30 seconds so far. So we're more than halfway through at the moment, as we have another car going very slowly around the start-finish straight, it seems.
Okay.
Who was that?
I didn't really catch it. I was reading chat, excuse me. But I just realized that I think
Higgs Boson, who may have gotten either some damage or possibly a track cut penalty for which he had to slow down.
Doesn't seem like it. Or probably got a slowdown if he slowed down.
A warning, I mean.
Yep, yep. And regarding the white car that went off the track there, Shooter thinks it's the Kusa. Yeah, I think that's correct, because the Kusa had some good pace, but he's... Yeah,
although I do not see any damage on my end at the moment. That could of course be client side, so we don't really know what's going on there. His pace is quite a bit lower than his qualifying was and the pace he had earlier in the race, so it is an educated guess that he has some damage.
Yep, here's the Lexus though, on the fight for Hunter and on the hunt for Fighter, excuse me. And there we have T-Mac. He's now just dominating this race with that 1 second, almost it's a 2-second gap now. Considering how close, I mean, how small this track is, that's a huge deal, and considering the cars as well. So
Hunter has to worry for his position, as Alexis is right on his tail, and Hunter does indeed have a penalty. I believe he had a 4-second time penalty. So he might even... Oh, he has a 9-second time penalty. Actually, is that Hunter? It should be. Could you pull up the timings again?
Yes,
it is indeed Hunter. He might even be under attack from the entire group behind these two drivers at the moment. So he'll have to dig deep for that pace.
Yeah, he's actually effectively in 13th right now. Yeah, that sucks for Hunter now, but kinda doesn't, because he's gonna be in a better position for the main race though. But yeah, and Alexis, our fellow Tier 1 driver from GT3, is gonna be yeah, certainly putting up on a performance here that's noteworthy. Of yeah, so I'm trying to find out what the scores are gonna be. I mean, for the points for
first, second, or for the respective positions in the first race. I don't know those either. I wish I did. As Hunter makes a mistake on the exit of Druids, it seems, which might put him under fire from Alexis, who could then overtake this man on track, even though at the moment he does not have to, as Hunter has received a 9-second time penalty and is now going very wide into the last corner. Although he does slow down at Alexis quite a bit, so it does not seem like they'll be going side by side into turn 1, as Campo and Storment, whom I do believe to be teammates, are going side by side into turn 1, as Storment actually lets Campo past, as he might be the faster driver, so he can hold up the guys behind them.
Oh,
as Jesus, Desert Pack goes very aggressively under braking into Druids. Some Max Verstappen quality defending from Storment though. Quite an interesting sight to see, as that now puts Zero Stefan under attack. Two Desert Pack under attack from Zero Stefan.
Oh, they're side by side still.
And they're going side by side into that last corner. And they will be going side by side into the start finishing straight, which means they'll also be going side by side into turn 1, it seems. Although it looks like Two Desert Pack will have the advantageous inside line. If he does not outbrake himself, he will keep that position.
Here they go then, turn 1. Yeah, clean drivers. Yeah, but kind of intrigued though, because Stefan is a Tier 5 driver and Two Desert Pack is a Tier 1 driver, so
we've had this, and Two Desert Pack actually makes a mistake and spins the car on the apex of Druids. I think you're confusing Zero Stefan for Stefan, who is the slowest coordinator in history, I believe. Oh, yeah. But Zero Stefan is a driver from Tier 1, I believe. I think we've had it in chat earlier.
Here comes Bacon. Oh, Jesus.
As Bacon is now very close to the Two Desert Pack, and they're basically touching. I think he put that nose a bit too far up the rear of that blue Ginetta, and that caused him to spin there.
Yeah, Two Desert Pack now gained 9th position from Nestor.
Tier 3. Apparently tier 3, not tier 1. Personally, I do not know which tier 0 Stefan was, so your guess is as good as mine.
Yep, checking chat for a second now. Leon, hey dude. Yeah, so regarding the points, I think it's be the same points actually for the main race and the sprint race. So kind of doesn't matter where you. It's not like there's a huge advantage to finishing good in the sprint race. So it might be more energetic though. So it caters to different driving styles, I guess. So you have the time trial drivers that are just banging out those. Oh, as I say that now, the Servich trying to get that position back from 2-pack.
To Desert Pack around the inside of turn 1, and possibly having a look out the inside of Druids under braking. Although 2 Desert Pack closes that line in the braking section and keeps his position, as Nesterovich is not close enough to make any sort of move.
The Lex is still on the hunt for Hunter. Ha, ha. Yeah. So.
Haha.
Yeah. The field has settled down a little bit now. We're closing in on the last lap. It's 40 seconds left, and T-Mac has just been dominating this one. He's actually up to 3 seconds gap now to second place of DAF or DAF or yeah. So yeah, this is yeah. This season is going to be crazy because this means that T-Mac, our fastest driver, is going to start from the back of the grid actually in the main race. So I can envision some crazy battles coming on next race. Next race is going to be 40 minutes. This has been a 20-minute race.
And as we have it, actually, Stefan is not the slowest moderator in history anymore. He's actually iRacing GTE Season 3 AM champion. So...
Ooh.
I stand
corrected.
corrected.
Stefan in chat. Okay, sorry about Stefan. I was didn't mean to diss you there. Yep, here we go then. Bacon is still fighting out here with Icer. He's actually fallen back a fair few places with
having now fallen behind Icer as well as
and the Nesterovich. Oh, the Nesterovich into this pack. Those guys have been rivals this this round at least, because
as the Nesterovich actually goes around the inside here, it seems. The race is now complete, so we'll be on the last. Nope, we have been on the last lap, and T-Mac has won with DAF in second position, Hunter in third, at Alexis in third. We'll have to wait and see where Hunter ends up, as he keeps getting handed down even further. He is now officially in 6th position after penalties. So the order we have at the moment is T-Mac, DAF, Adalexis, Campo, Storment, Hunter, Higgs Boson, 0 Stefan, 5 Aces Nesterovich, Icer, 2 Desert Pack, and some other drivers. Let me pull them up here. 2 Desert Pack, Flask, King Kodiak, the man, the myth, the legend, Dakuza, Capo, Dangerous Janetta, Berserka, WMD or Martin, and Gixxer in last. Gixxer having retired, seemingly due to connection issues, I would believe.
There was some heavy pit stops going on there in the beginning, so... Yep. So this is... I'm kind of intrigued by this, because I'm watching the best laps right now on the board, and there's a fair few people further back in the finishing order that set some good lap times. So I think there might be some sandbagging going on. So, yeah. The second race is going to be crazy. So, yeah, Rick says that's a tactical result from Kodiak.
Well, you know it. He will win this next round. In the name of all AOR commentators.
Yeah, we have recursed. I mean, sorry, Rick, about that. I really forgot to excuse myself for cursing you that one time, because, man, did I curse you on... which round was it again? we were talking about like the mistakes you could do, and then you just did exactly what I said like 2 times in a row. So yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, it's not really an advantage to sandbag. I don't think so either. Because
we're currently just waiting for everybody to ready up for this feature race, which will be, I believe, 40 minutes long. So we have a beautiful screen here. We have it. I can bring up the standby screen if we want.
Yeah, I really need to get some water. So yeah, I'm just going to say BRB.
Do that, and once we are back in the lobby, I will put the stream back onto the cars. Until then, let's have a little chat with chat, won't we?
Yeah, I just wanted to say I'm kind of blown away about the.
Although Ventus, don't forget to rejoin the session. I think you've left, and I need you to come back.
I thought it was okay. Hopefully this works. Yes, it does. Thank you everyone for showing up today. It's really cool to see the support on day one. It's amazing.
And Andrex, it might be you that has to grab as many pints as you want, but I think in racing you would want to grab as many points as you want. Sorry, I had to go for that.
Yeah, man, this track is gonna be crazy in GT3 though. It's gonna be, yeah. Yeah, so speaking of pints, I'm gonna go get myself a pint of water, so be right back.
Alright. On the topic, yes, indeed. There are some other great tracks that GT3s should run. Possibly some of the karting tracks would be great, I believe. There's fairly long straights and great opportunities for overtaking there. The tracks are fairly short, so the lap times will be very close. I think that'll be a great option for us in the next seasons. IndyCar Rallycross. Now there is a great idea from Stefan. We should run it by the AOR management to see what they say. I think it's a great idea. These cars have quite a lot of downforce, so there should be no issues with traction on low grip tracks. Or possibly some Formula X at the Mercedes Ice Track Racing. He is actually AOR management. That is true. Hey Stefan, can we have a league for that? Indeed, it does seem like that quite little damage will do quite a lot to these cars. I think we've had a comment on that, though. Was it from you, Shooter, or from somebody else in the early parts of the stream? So there's that.
And I'm back.
Alright. Now that you're back, I'm gonna go and get a glass of water as well, because I didn't want to leave these guys unattended, because We
Yeah, of
don't know
course,
where
yeah.
that would go, right?
Never leave chat unattended. That's the worst.
Exactly, that is the
Never
worst
do,
thing.
so-
So I will be back in a short minute, and until then,
Yeah. So I have a wireless headset, and I heard my headset crackled a little bit, and then I heard Formula X at the ice circuit of Mercedes. What the hell are you guys talking about? That's a great idea. Endurance Multiclass Rally X. That would actually be really cool. I don't think the cars are built for it. How much can you actually fit in a rally cross car in terms of fuel? Does anyone know? And by the way, also another question: does anyone know what the difference between the loose and stable setups are in these cars? Okay, Rick. Do they even have tires that can fit like the? Do you have like all season tires then, or? It worked. Yeah, that's good.
alright. We are still in lobby waiting for everybody to confirm that we can continue.
Yep, I haven't. Yeah, I'm still race director. Nice. Okay, so yeah, checking the weather. It's gonna be. Isn't it gonna be? Yeah, main race is gonna be light cloud. So, considering how it's in September as well, and in UK it's probably gonna be a little bit cold. Oh, you can actually put any tires you want. Yeah, just use rally across cars on other tracks.
Or this game does have the weather options, so you could indeed choose winter and a blizzard as the setting, with tires locked in on the soft slicks.
That would actually be awesome. Like do just a normal GT3 season, just change out the cars and the weather for ice, and that would be that would be interesting to say the least.
And change the cars for rallycross cars and have a rallycross racing league.
Yeah.
On racetracks.
Yeah. When I asked about the setup stuff, and I was asking him like the specifics of it. Do you know what they changed like in setups? Like is it damping changing, or springs and damping, or is it just? I haven't really checked, so I'm just a bit curious.
You mean the setups for these cars, loose versus stable?
Yeah, like what the difference are.
I do believe it is in the dampening settings. And I believe some cars, since these cars do not have aero, they don't have it there. But some of the GT3 cars, I do believe, have differences in aero, as well as some spring settings and dampening settings. So it should be all over the board, but I'm not sure. I've not paid all that much attention to it. For all I know, it could be a placebo effect where they're trying to tell us there's two different setups, but there's not really.
Hey, that might be true. So, okay, so we're in the race now. We're gonna run this as a reverse grid, so the guys are probably choosing their setups right now. And so they're probably just gonna go each to their own side, just drive straight to the side, and then let the grid. They're gonna read out the grid from last time and then run the reverse grid from that. So, yeah, I just can't imagine the start on this race is gonna be sick.
It will be quite interesting to watch what will happen here. Alright.
And
as Leon the sick one is the first one to move out of the way. Or is that Leon?
no, that's actually Leon not moving out of the way.
Leon not moving out of the way.
That's GD.
Dangerous Janetta moving very far to the side.
Oh, that must be
WMDO Martin. WMDO Martin, who finished last in the first race, tactically now in first position. Looking at those tires move, that is how you heat up a tire. Remember, this guy is a pad user, so the fact that he's even managed to be in Tier 1 of this league speaks volumes about his skill. with a joystick.
Yeah, I remember watching him in the GT3 tier. Yeah, tier 2 in season 9. It was Red Bull Ring, and it was super. I think it was like heavy rain or something. And actually, Martin was setting good times in the. I was actually blown away by his pace there in the rain. So.
If you want, you can put us into the cockpit and see what it looks like from there. There we go.
Yeah, I'm gonna. If that was my will, I would probably cook it straight away because of the force feedback. Yep, going track stated again. We're gonna check further back in the field, bring out the map, and as we can see, we have the last. Our race winner from last time was T-Mac, and there he is, waiting patiently at the back of the field. There's TPW. Hey, that's good to see him in the race. He was busy with something else the first race, so here he is. So.
Ticklish Pickle Wickle and Leon having finally joined.
Yeah, I heard Kodiak called Ticklish Pickle Wickle for TPW, and I'm gonna adapt that name as well because man, that name just kills my. Oh, whoa!
Oops! Running almost into the back of Leon right there. Interesting to see that. As they are warming up their tires again, Martin doing his thing. Whereas everybody else seems to be doing a Kimi Räikkönen with just driving straight here. I don't know if you've seen that video.
Suspected. Oh, what do you mean? Like, didn't he warm his tires or something?
There was a race, I believe it was last year in Bahrain, where I think it was after a safety car, where the drivers were warming up their tires and Kimi Räikkönen was just driving straight. So,
classic Räikkönen. Oh man, I felt so bad for him that he... Yeah, that
was indeed a shame, but I sort of saw it coming.
Yep, here we go then.
As the second race is now underway, Martin is off in first position, so he keeps that for now. Just behind him is Berserk, I guess Berserk. And Zero Stefan almost makes contact with 5 Aces and a Starowitch. Now at the very back end of the field we have Stormont here, and his teammate Campo 675. Adalax is actually going side by side and having a bit of contact with Stormont there. Might not have seen him there. I do believe the cars could have taken away a bit of damage from that, which will slow down these guys' charge through the field, as somebody's going very slowly and is holding up Stormont at the moment. I can't see who the driver is, as I don't have it. I only have 16 drivers at the moment on my timing screen. I would believe that the driver behind Adalexis is T-Mac.
I think we're gonna have a 3 wide in front there again.
They go 2 wide into the first corner. Somebody's gone off in a red and black, and that is CAT Hunter. After having received 9 seconds of penalties in the previous version of this race, going off at the very beginning of this race has cost him quite a few positions. And
look at this.
And they seem to be there was contact between, I believe, Adalexis and Higgs Boson.
Yep. Oh no. That's
I guess you would call that contact a Big Bang.
Haha. Very nice.
I'm gonna make that joke for the entire season.
Yeah, unfortunately. Oh no, someone's off again.
It seems to be Dakuza, I believe.
Oh no,
Dakuza does it again, choking the car out into turn 1, it seems. Not his strongest showing here at the moment. Now,
third right now.
King Kodiak in 4th position. Sandbagging in the first race, of course, to take the victory on the second race, clearly. He lost out that position at the moment, but I have no doubts that he's going to try and, or that he inevitably will get it back. As he now goes very closely to the back of Bacon, and they might actually be going side by side into turn 1, as he now has the slipstream. And he's going for a very wide line. Loses a bit of that traction and slides
Oh.
very wide. Loses position to
Oh man, this is a huge pack.
Capo.
Oh, and Bacon just
Here.
moved up to third there.
Bacon has just moved up to third and back down to fifth.
Tupac just got through. Oh, this is insane. I don't know where to look.
This is some very insane racing indeed at the moment. As you remember, this is a reverse grid, so usually the slower drivers at the front, which means all the very fast drivers will now run into the back of these guys, which will slow down the entire field. As Dakuza goes off again, possibly wondering why he hasn't raced a rallycross league or cross league at this point, as he's not having the best of weekends.
Okay, we're gonna have almost 4 wide here into turn 1. Oh,
As Capo and
oh
his
no, that's
teammate actually
teammate,
makes some
Stefan.
contact, and Stefan goes off.
Oh, some unfortunate contact there between teammates. Oh, I can't believe this is gonna be going on for like 33 more minutes. It's insane. Really wish I could be driving with these guys now. It looks like so much fun considering, man.
It does indeed. And
Oh, no,
Alexis goes off, trying to find the door to Narnia, it seems. Rejoins the track and is now in last position, possibly?
Oh no.
Or second to last position.
Back at it again.
Having
now with
lost
Kodiak. Actually
King Kodiak
moving
still
up to
holding
sixth.
on to that 7th position.
Oh, that's a green car.
Now
up.
moving up to
Oh, no,
6th,
no, no.
as there's contact between Nesterowicz and... who was that? WMD or Martin, possibly? No, it was not Martin.
I'm
Martin
trying
was...
to... My timings are bug right now, so I'm having some trouble. It's T-Mac. Oh no!
And
Our
T-Mac,
race winner for race 1 is now in last almost.
and he is now in last, it seems.
Considering how he actually caught up to the field though, he's not so far off considering how he actually started the last. But yeah.
So we currently have Dangerous Janetta in first position, followed by 2 Desert Pack. In third we have Flask, or Bacon as we call him, and just behind them is Berserka, who had some terrible luck on that sprint race as he goes very wide. Just behind him at the moment is King Kodiak in 5th position, the man, the myth, the legend.
But I have
Behind
to
him we have
Capo and oh, Isir and Capo are side by side here. Oh, Capo's about to lose it as well. Hey, Desert Pack is actually in the lead now. So
Desert Pack
Janetta
taking the
also.
lead from Dangerous Janetta and possibly having the opportunity of, as Leon calls this game something I'm not going to say, seemingly having disconnected or had an issue.
Yep. Someone's off again there. That grass is not gonna help you turn in. That's that yellow car. I'm trying to find out which one. Yeah, that's
That yellow
Hunter.
car is not, I believe the red
that's
one is
Storm.
Hunter. No, the Stormont is
Oh.
the green one.
Okay. Oh, someone went off there as well.
And has taken the monster
Is that
sign
Kodiak?
with them. Nope, Kodiak is may actually have gone off indeed, as he's now in 7th position. So he was 5th before that.
Iser and Daf fighting harder, and Daf going inside. Looks like he had some oversteer there, but managed to keep it clean. Here they come then. Might be 2x2 into turn 1, as we've seen so often on this track, and it seems like Daf has secured that position. Oh, someone's off again. That's That's not Hunter. That's to the other red car.
Berserka.
Yeah, Berserka, that's right. I think that's might be the second time Berserka has been off.
As
this
Hunter
race.
squeezes past King Kodiak into Druids, King Kodiak now under the attack from Higgs Boson, as there's a car just flipped. Oh no, that's just a part of a car. Never mind.
Hey, Capo's in the pits actually. Oh, he's
Capo actually
repairing.
has-
Oh, look at the state of that front end.
I do believe this is what they call weight reduction, bro. making the car as small and tiny as possible to reduce drag and losing some parts in the process. As we have a
Bacon is actually in second.
Bacon takes the second place from Dangerous Ginetta, who was running there before him. And 2 Desert Pack actually locking up a bit under braking there. These two guys, of course, being followed at the moment by Berserker and Daff. Daff, who finished the last race, I believe, in second position. So, being possibly the strongest contender at the moment for charging up the field. As he is possibly the fastest driver here in that leading group, as Storment and is that Stefan, or I believe it is Stefan.
Yeah, that's Stefan.
Fighting for position there, with Stefan going very, very unstable in the braking on that last corner there.
Okay, seems like Storm wants to go the long way around, and Boson just shuts the door on him straight up in his face there, so...
Keeps the car in the apex, which is, of course, a slower line, though, as Higgs Boson moves under braking. Nothing, I believe, Storman could have done there, as he had already chosen his line before Higgs Boson went to close that door. So now they're actually going side by side again. Let's see if there's any more contact between these two guys, as it seems that Stormont has actually passed him, as Higgs Boson loses the rear end there as well, a tiny bit, which now, or led to Stefan passing him as well.
Oh, here they're gonna, he's got a good draft there, just mounted on the rear side of Stefan. They're going out, Stefan going defensive, and here comes Capo out of the pits.
Quite a lot of damage on that car. Sadly, we do not see it repaired after it has been repaired. At Alexis, of course, having to pit as well. It seems he has had quite a bit of damage on that front end of his car. So it looks like his race is over. This car, Dakuza, is still struggling, being overtaken by a car that is missing all types of bodywork. I do believe that might be T-Mac.
That's TPW.
Or that is Ticklish Pickle Wickle, going the route of just throwing
that car
away
might actually deserve one of the custom cameras if you press minus now, just to have a look.
Whoops. That was me throwing over my empty glass. Let's have a look at these special cameras. If we look at the car, you can see the engine. It's I believe it's a 1.8 liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder with about 140 horsepower. I believe it is actually built or helped by Cosworth or Ford Cosworth, possibly.
Isn't Tickle? He is actually not pitting.
I believe this might be just on our end, or he had already pitted with this damage and has had it fixed. Of course, the neat thing, or the not so neat but also neat thing we have in this game is that damage that is repaired in the pits does not get repaired on the broadcaster side, so we get to see the beautiful inner workings of this car.
Yeah, I think Ginetta made a huge... Yeah, we can see it, that front end is smashed up. Ginetta made a mistake in 5th or 6th position, and he's now in 13th, so we might see him come into the pits. He dodged the pits as well, so...
Although he might have already come into the pits as well.
Yeah, so here's TPW. He is not going into the pits either, so that car has to have... yeah, that must be bugged for us, because I can't see that car being drivable in the state of... yeah.
He's actually looking to overtake WMDO Martin into Druids, and WMDO Martin actually tries to go for a switchback move, but hits Ticklish Pickle Wickle in the rear, which now puts him under fire from Dakuza, who is having a terrible race, but may just be looking for some action there. So we have a battle for 6th position between Storment and Stefan and Icier, I believe. Actually, for 7th.
Oh,
as there's contact between Higgs Boson and Stormont, and King Kodiak just about manages to avoid them. Or was it Higgs Boson? No, yes, it was Higgs Boson who had been overtaken because of that by his teammate T-Mac, I believe.
Wow, T-Mac is in 8th again? Man, T-Mac is a beast on this track. Or this car.
Up in 8th. in this car on this track. Of course, already being behind 7 seconds from the leader to Desert Pack. This would, of course, be a very difficult gap to close, even for him.
I think actually T-Mac is catching here. Oh. Some hefty car control. I think T-Mac got a really good exit there, so yeah, this track is just so short, so it's you don't really get that much advantage of getting a good turn onto those small straights. So there's a battle further up there, as you can see, between Daff and Hunter. With Daff there straight behind Hunter, so you can hear the engine just screaming for the next gear.
Although looking at the dash, it does rev up to 7,000 RPM, which is quite a lot for a 4-cylinder engine, which I do believe inline 4-cylinder engines are naturally unbalanced, so they do need a balancing shaft to reduce unwanted vibrations in a car.
I actually think they might have touched there, or it was a little bit of lag on my end, but oh,
they certainly have touched there though, as Daff gets a tiny rear end by Hunter, it seems, and Icer right behind them, possibly looking to take that position from Hunter as well now.
Looking further back in the field, we have Martin and Dakusa. Dakusa going off, I mean, maybe 3 times this race. Oh, that's a very overheated tire, it seems, for Martin there. Or whatever it was.
Martin showing us that flashy driving may not be the fastest, but it certainly is the best looking.
Yeah, gonna check out the wheel here as he comes up to these turns. You can see there's a lot of... I mean, he's getting a lot of understeer. There's nothing happening to this car. He's probably overheated his tires by a lot. As it's really difficult to get that feeling when you're under control, of course, of how much understeer you're having. So when you don't feel it, you're just smearing those tires on the track. So yeah, unfortunate there for Martin.
He might have some better luck on some of the other tracks we have coming up over the next 3 weeks. Although I haven't checked the schedule yet. I do believe they would not tend to be as tire wear heavy as Brands Hatch is.
Yep, and then we have the suspected sandbagger of Kodiak here. He's setting the same lap times of the last laps round. I mean, so I don't think he's sandbagging, to be honest. So you are free to go, Kodiak.
Exactly.
Then we have Boson on the attack for him there.
On the attack yet again. Higgs Boson, of course, being the teammate of T-Mac, who's currently already up in 6th position. Seems as we have almost crossed the halfway point. We are 20 minutes into this feature race. As King Kodiak goes very wide on the entry of that final corner, which might...
car controller, using the brakes to try and control the car.
Which does not give Higgs Boson enough room to make a move up into the inside of turn 1, as we are now following Berserker, who is chasing after 2 Desert Pack.
Look at those lap times, though.
Having terrible luck. I think having had contact in the first sprint race, and therefore not having a great position there. Now wanting to take that victory from 2 Desert Pack, possibly. As it appears as though you did mention the lap times, which are in the 50s at the moment, but there's one man who is currently lapping a 49, or lapping in the 49s, and that is T-Mac. And he has closed the gap to the leaders by more than 3 seconds at this point. Or at least, was it 7 seconds?
I want to go
7.8
on board
seconds?
with T-Mac now. So I could just try and learn how he...
If he keeps it clean out there, he might even be able to take that victory from the 2 guys fighting in the front. As there's somebody going very wide there, it looks like that is...
That's... Hunter? No, that's Hunter being passed. Or is that lapped traffic? No?
That might be lapped traffic.
Actually, I think so.
I think that is at Alexis.
Yes. Yeah. Oh no, Ginetta is in the pits as well.
Ginetta having now gone into the pits, so having decided to fix his car.
Here they are then, Bacon defending hard here from Hunter.
They were going possibly 4 wide into turn 1, it seems. They've decided not to go for it. There might have been a bit of contact between some of those cars there.
In front there.
In front there.
Here they come. They're like switching. It's 2x2 with one car, and then it's 2x2
with another car. It's hard to call out what's exactly happening as we see it on screen. With T-Mac now being up in 5th position, so gaining positions through all those moves, and now being around the outside of Hunter. Hunter now having a terrible line into that fast corner, which lets T-Mac attack him on the start-finish straight, and possibly into turn 1. As T-Mac now has the draft from him, he might have a look around down the inside of that red Ginetta as Hunter closes that line just a tiny bit to keep T-Mac from going out. But Hunter drifts wide on exit, which makes him go side by side with T-Mac into Druids, and that is certainly a battle T-Mac will not lose.
Oh, don't say that though. Oh yeah, so it looks like T-Mac has made the pass there, and that was a fantastic move there in turn 1 and 2. Man, this is gonna be some amazing and clean racing as well. So yeah, can't wait for the next rounds and see like after a couple of more races how the leaderboards pan out, because it's gonna be so volatile. I think because of the, you know, the reverse grids and everything. So yeah.
As we have Martin going into the pits.
He's
parking the car.
Oh well, good race so far, Martin.
Having cooked his tires to death, he might have a tire cake for the next few days to snack on, but certainly won't taste as well as victory would have.
Wow, Berserker and Hunter now, both those teammates so far up in the field, so team points up for grabs here.
Constructors Championship points, you mean, though?
For Ginetta's. Yeah, we need to tone it down with the... Probably gonna lose our commentator seat if we keep this going.
If we keep this up.
Yep, and it's actually calmed down a little bit in the race now.
It has indeed calmed down.
Patrick with Boson.
We are currently following Nestorowicz, who has had some issues as well. Has he also been in the pits? We know that Ginetta has been in the pits, but has Nestorowicz also been in the pits? I do believe we've seen both of the black cars with the red stripes, but I am not certain at the moment.
Well,
as Higgs Boson goes very, very wide into Druids there. Possibly leaving that room because he's gone wide on the turn 1 exit and has gotten a warning for cutting the track.
Oh, actually, what's happened to Desert Pack though? Oh no!
As to Desert Pack has actually crashed his car, going the same route that Ticklish Picklewickle has chosen, and not deciding to go into the pits. T-Mac actually pitting in, so there was contact between these two. T-Mac seemingly rear-ending to Desert Pack.
Oh no. But I didn't think there was a obligatory... Is there an obligatory pit stop
there
this season?
Should not be a pit stop I don't think there is.
Yeah, this guy is stopping for repairs. You can see that that's a long pit stop. So yeah, T-Mac's chances ruined here as I think he charged up the field actually twice. Considering we had that incident that was in last again, and then yeah, T-Mac is a beast though. So unfortunate for him.
In these cars, he seems to have no equal at the moment, which of course is a good thing for DAF, as he is the man who has finished the sprint race in 2nd position and is currently in 1st, which would give him quite a big lead on points over T-Mac, who seems to be would be his championship rival.
Yeah, this is one hectic battle now for the top positions as there are 2 cars side by side all the time almost. Oh.
As we now have Berserker trying to gun for that position that Flask is currently holding on to, who himself is trying to take that position from Hunter, as there may have been a tiny bit of contact between the red Ginetta of Berserker and the yellow Ginetta of Flask, although it does not seem to have damaged any of the cars, as they are currently fighting for second position, and all 3 of them have penalties. If you could pull those up, we could see if these are race deciding, as there was a bit of contact between Flask and Hunter. Flask pushing Hunter a bit wide there on mid-corner, and now that's Berserker going around the inside of Druids on Flask, but Flask not giving in there and keeping that 3rd position going for him.
I think I saw, might be some lag on mine, but it looked like Icer actually slowed down a little bit there. And to this, is that the what? Oh, there he is. Yep. So that's some lightweight crashing. I mean, it's probably intended, considering. Yeah, man, I didn't actually realize that we had the cars in this game that could get so destroyed as this. That's awesome to see, like the inner workings of the engine bay and things. But yeah, jumping back for the battle for what's happened? As
Berserker seems to have gone off track on whatever corner this is, and there was contact between Hunter and Berserker, the 2 teammates.
Oh,
as well as who's the other driver? Is that Higgs Boson?
Yellow car. Yeah, that's not.
No, that's Flask. Flask has been taken out in that as well.
Too bad we didn't see that crashed out. I think that was a massive one.
So the 3 cars fighting for second position having all been taken out there. Oh, and no!
First and Icer. Oh, and
Icer in second position and Zero Stefan in 3rd. The man in front of him, of course, being lap traffic at Alexis. Yep. Currently not fighting for any of these positions.
Yeah, so Alexis is trying to unlap himself here. He's actually not setting that good of lap times, so might be struggling a little bit here. And back to that fight for now. And like that huge crash up front there has certainly blown this wide open as
we now have King Kodiak back in 7th position, and 2 drivers with damaged cars in front of him might mean that he could take that 5th position from them as well. As 2 Desert Pack is now back up into 4th position after the contact he's had with T-Mac, it seems. T-Mac, who is not on my timing list at the moment. I would have to scroll down. He's currently in 17th, with only Capo behind him.
He's actually caught up with position. Oh yeah, that's Capo. Capo is fighting some lap traffic here. Oh, he's got damage again. And that's one of those red cars. That wasn't that huge incident, so... Yeah, here comes Beck, and he's actually repaired his car.
He hasn't even repaired his car. So, apparently repair will put damaged body panels, or lost body panels, back onto the car.
Oh man, there's so much lap traffic here. I'm trying to figure out who's close to who. Yeah, Hunter now.
As King Kodiak is down into 8th, as he's lost a position to Stormont, it seems.
Yeah, here comes Berserker. Yeah, it was Berserker and Hunter, wasn't it? That wasn't that huge shunt there in the turn 1.
Berserker, Hunt, and Flask.
Yeah. Yeah, that's soul destroying, considering how hard they fought actually to get up there, and now it's just, yeah. It would be a cool crash to see those. It was unfortunate for us to lose it, and here it comes. That's a yellow car. Is that T-Mac?
That is indeed T-Mac.
I think he just passed those 2 so easily. No, that's not T-Mac. That's I'm trying to remember the other
Higgs
yellow
Boson.
car. Yeah, that's Boson. Okay,
that
so
Higgs Boson.
That is Berserker. Yeah, there he is. He's actually 9th. He just overtook Berserker right now. Oh, as I say that now, Berserker is fighting back. Boson on the inside here. Oh, yeah, a little bit of
behind them is actually Ticklish Picklewickle.
Hey, there he is. Yeah, there he is, actually in 11th. So
slowly creeping up the field here.
Yeah, it's an amazing thing that that rear bumper is still hanging on there.
King Kodiak currently in 8th position.
Storm.
Just behind Storm, who is a few seconds off of Hunter and 5 Aces Nesterowicz, who both have penalties. If you could bring up the screens to see what the penalties are, we have a 2-second penalty for Nesterowicz, a 5-second penalty for Hunter, a 6-second penalty for Berserker, a 35-second penalty for Dakuza, a 1-second penalty for Adalexis, an 8-second penalty for Flask, and a 2-second penalty for Capo.
Yeah, man, this is the race of penalties right here. I think Dakuza got a fair... I think those 5 seconds are from corner cutting, and then he probably sped up in the pits when he shouldn't to get those 30 seconds. So, yeah, disastrous race here for Dakuza. Yeah, considering how he's actually might be able to hang on to that 13th position there, as he is indirectly battling with Alexis there. Or does Alexis have a penalty as well?
He does indeed have, but only a 1-second time penalty.
Yeah. Yep. Well, there's a
and there's another huge crash. It's between Ticklish Picklewickle, Higgs Boson, and T-Mac this time. I believe that is.
Yep, that's T-Mac.
That is T-Mac.
There's body panels laying it down on the ground.
Higgs Boson? No, that's not Higgs. That might have been Flat. Who is that? I mean, so many yellow cars, yellow and black. It was not Flask, it seems, as his car is still very much on track and racing.
Yep, Dakuza. Yeah, Dakuza with a 35 penalty is not really battling anyone for position right here. So,
although King Kodiak has now lost that position, that 8th position he's had, and is now down into 10th. Although he might be looking to take that back as Berserker and Dakuza are battling for position. So we might have a look around the inside there into Druids. Bud pulls out with Zero Stefan just behind them, I believe. Or is that Capo? But not part of the actual fight at the moment.
Yeah, that's Capo behind there. With a 2-minute and 52-second gap to leader, so he's very much out of this race, just trying to salvage those points, as they might be crucial, as we've seen in GT3 Tier 2 Season 10, where we have Clown losing out the championship by 1 point, actually 2 points. But so, yeah, that could be just a good strategy to just try to limp it home and get those points, as they might be crucial later on. There, I think there's a fair few battles going on, but it's with lap traffic though, so I'm gonna have some trouble seeing the times. Man, there's so many cars running without a bonnet or a front bumper right now. It's
or a rear bumper for that matter.
Yeah, I mean, is that? Yeah, that's Picklewickle's rear bumper. I'm amazed that that thing's still holding on. That's a good rear bumper right there. Never letting go. Further up in the field, we have a battle for 8th with Kodiak, Dakuza, and Berserker.
Kodiak actually having overtaken Berserker at the moment, with Dakuza being able to draw or form a bit of a gap there to that 9th position, which is currently being battled out by Berserker and King Kodiak, but Berserker seemingly dropping back there a bit as well. So it seems that the damage his car has received is now starting to slow him down quite a bit.
Yeah, man, I just realized that the incidents that's been happening. Look, oh, there's someone.
Somebody's gone off.
Trying to see who it is.
That was Dakuza. That was Dakuza.
Was it Dakuza? Oh no. Poor Dakuza. Let's check the times again and check. Yeah, he hasn't gotten another penalty, so he's fine, relatively. So
as fine as he can be at the moment, I believe.
Yeah. Here's Hunter though. On to Stefan. So yeah, those huge incidents in the leader has allowed Duff to. He's 15 seconds now ahead of Iser. So hats off to Duff. They're keeping it clean, and it's just so funny to see those cars behind there with without those bonnets and anything on their car still. So
I think we've had I think we've had somebody mention this earlier in chat, that consistency is going to be the key for these races, and it does seem to be, in fact, that this is the case, as a lot of the faster drivers seem to be making mistakes and causing quite a few incidents here. This being
identical cars here battling.
Truly being a showing of the Maldonado skills that these drivers have honed for quite a few seasons, possibly. Finally letting out their anger from not being able to cause any incidents in the GT3 season. But that, of course, being a joke. But still,
yeah,
it's quite interesting to see that there is this much contact in the league at the moment. It might be due to the close battling and the misjudging of gaps. I believe
the margins are so tiny with these cars. Like, you know, you can't really. They aren't as nimble as GT3 cars are. So, you know, in that first turn there, if anyone gets oversteer or anything, it's just, oh, that's someone almost going into the wall. And that's lap traffic.
As Hunter is trying to lap Capo, I believe that is. Yet again. No, that's not Capo. No. That's Stefan. Zero Stefan. Hunter having actually overtaken Zero Stefan on track, Zero Stefan having gone off, now being overtaken by Storment as well. It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell who's overtaken whom, even with the timings on the left, as there's just so many cars to watch out, so many
at the Lexus
things
now.
To watch out for.
Onto Campo. Campo going really off to the side. Yeah, the damaged front end on Campo there, so might have had some trouble turning in. Yeah, so Ad Alexis now climbing into 13th. And I think Ad Alexis actually had the same amount of damage that the other guys had, where he lost his front bumper and everything. And he repaired his car, so this might actually be worth it, as he's getting some of those positions back, as though... Yeah, Flask was one of those guys that repaired as well, so... And that's Ginetta. That's actually a battle for position, 1 minute and 16 seconds behind the leader, so action going on wherever you are in this race.
Which is the beauty of these cars in this type of racing.
Yep, here comes. Here's. I can't keep it together every time. Yep, so TPW and Boson actually keeping it together fairly well, considering the state of their cars here. So it's just both of their bumpers are broken at the exact same spot, and they have the exact same damage. It's kind of hilarious to me. So, here's Hunter now for Storm.
Storm actually taking Hunter now as well with... That's not King Cody. No, nope. That is Zero Stefan right in the back there, behind the other two cars, I believe. Yes, it is. With Hunter possibly coming under fire from Zero Stefan, if his penalty is harsh enough. It is a 5-second penalty, and well, Stefan is so only about 5 seconds off. So Hunter can't allow himself to make even the tiniest of mistakes if he wants to keep that position.
Yeah, Stefan is currently catching up to him here. So, that's a very slow green car. It seemed like, yeah, probably just an illusion. There's Storm in front there, charging away. That's a very clean car as well. Is Kodiak's car still clean? Yes, it is. Yeah, so this has been an eventful race. I just wish... just realized that it's 7 seconds left of this race, so Daff is now on his last lap, and what a performance right here. He's actually 18 seconds now ahead of the second position now. Of course, that being due to the huge incident in turn 1 there, so unfortunately we didn't catch that crash, but it is Daff that wins the main race actually of round 1, and we have to check on where he finished in round...
the sprint race.
first round of round 1, I guess. We need to call it sprint race and main race to not get confused here. But yeah, here comes Icer in effectively second place. So we got a whole bunch of DNFs here, as I don't think a lot of the cars are not going to be able to get all past the finish line here. So
as
here comes
Two Desert
Pack.
Pack
Wow.
comes home in 3rd position after he's had an accident or an incident, I believe. Not deciding not to pit and just take his car to the end. That having paid off, it seems, with him coming home in 3rd.
Wow, what a... I mean, hats off to him, man. I can't believe how he actually finished that race. Oh, here comes King Kodiak with a battle with Stefan, and race cutting off there just before the end, and that's a little bit sour for Kodiak and the boys. Trying to reach the end before...
Very sour indeed. And looking at the gap between Hunter and Stefan, Stefan just wasn't quite fast enough to take that 6th position from Hunter. So we have the finishing order for the main race. DAF, Icer, 2 Desert Pack, Nastarwitch, Stormont, Hunter, Zero, Stefan, King Kodiak, Higgs Boson, Ticklish Pickle Wickle, Berserker, Adalexis, Campo, Dangerous Janetta, Dakuza, Flask, T-Mac, and Capo.
I'm gonna go check if I can get Duff for an interview. So
All right.
BRB.
Indeed, the field had indeed spread out quite a bit towards the end there, although a lot of cars were quite a few cars were still battling for positions. What was more surprising to me is the amount of contact there was between the drivers. Ventus has said it earlier, has mentioned it, that these cars may have just that tiny of an error margin. That they slide a bit more. They're not as sharp as GT3 cars, that these contacts are sort of inevitable. And with this kind of car, if there's a tiny bit of damage, it has a huge effect. So that might be part of that reason.
Hey, and there we have him then, the winner of this race. Man, this was...
Good evening.
Hey, dude. Did you catch that incident behind you there?
Yeah, I had an incident with Berserker, I think. And in the end, I was very, very, very lucky because Tudes Pack, I don't remember the exact name, spun. And T-Mac was really, really, really close to me. And maybe he didn't saw Tudes and got an incident. And then I had freeway ahead of me.
Yeah, man, congrats on that. That was a dominating performance. Even though the incident, that 18-second gap to 2nd place was impressive. So
yeah, but was not very difficult. Not because was all people were battling for each position. So yeah, they were losing lots of time each lap.
Yeah, man, there was a lot of intense battling there. But okay, thank you very much for your interview. Can you, if it's fine by you, I'm just going to move you down there and see if we can get 2nd place up here as well.
Bye bye, everyone.
Yeah, congrats again.
Yeah,
congrats.
BRB.
All right. And so it happened. I'll pull up the standby while we're at it, so we have something actual to look at. While Ventus does his interviews with some of that Project Cars music in the background. Of course, the surprise here being actually that T-Mag had fought his way through the field twice, and every time he did, he was involved in an incident which had him finish much lower than he could have, so losing out very precious points in this short championship to the other top drivers there.
there we go. I always forget like the voice activity thing there. So yeah, I just brought him up here. The second place now. There was so much happening in this race. I mean, Iser, were you kind of in one of those incidents that happened in the top 5 situation there?
I wasn't on the big one. I was on one around the middle of the race. But I think, well, I was on the outside of the corner. I was touched. I don't think I crashed into anyone. I was crashed into.
Yeah, I mean,
watching the replay now to see what happened. But
this season is gonna be insane, man. There's I just couldn't keep it together. Seeing all those cars without bonnets and the rear bumpers hanging loose, and then to Tesla back ending up on the podium there without the bonnet or anything hanging onto his car. That's amazing. So yeah, I can't wait for the rest of the season there. But congrats on second, dude. Where did you finish in the sprint race? Do you remember?
I think it was 10th. Yeah. 10th or 9th, something like that. Yeah.
Right then. So yeah, let's put you in a good position then for the beginning of the championship. So yeah, it's gonna be cool to see how this pans out.
Yeah. It is my first time on the top tier, so I really don't have any hopes, but it was nice today, yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much for the interview, and congrats again. I'm just going to move you back down there and try to find the third place.
Cool, thank you.
So... while we're at it, I might very well check what we have lined up for next week. As we should be somewhere, another one of those shorter tracks, I believe. If you'll just give me a second to pull up the information.
And I'm back, and yeah, Kodiak, any thoughts?
I'm knackered.
Yeah, man. Yeah, this was, I mean, in GT3, of course, there's going to be some tight battles, but in the start of these races, there's like 3 packs of cars going 3 wide and like 2 packs of cars going 2 wide. Like, what do you even watch here?
Welcome to my world.
Yeah.
Yeah, in these default leagues, especially when you've got the reverse grid. I mean, it was pretty busy at the beginning of the first race, but of course the performance of the cars are all equal, with the exception of choosing between standard and loose setups. But the biggest defining aspect is the driver. And on the reverse grid, of course, you've got the faster drivers trying to get past the slower ones, with everybody bunched up very, very condensed. Whereas obviously in the normal grid, the faster guys are already at the front, so there's less of an issue there. So yeah, it creates these huge, battles that are so hard as commentators to keep up with. So I look forward to watching it back.
Yeah, it was. I think there was like 3 incidents where there were like people rolling over and losing everything, considering bodywork and things. So yeah.
It was quite spectacular to watch.
I think I might actually get T-Mac in for an interview here. He was the one that won the first race, wasn't it? Yes, and then
did indeed.
Yeah, and he had some incident. I'm just gonna bring him up here because he was insane. I'm trying to find him here. So let's go.
All right, and while you do that, I have the calendars. So the next race will be on the 12th of September. It'll be at Oschersleben, same time as this one. So 8 p.m. GMT +1 or UK time. The first race will be in-game time at 11 in the rain, and the second race will be at 4 p.m. Overcast.
Hey, I think we actually have only one rain race this season. Well, considering it's four rounds, though, it's not that. Yeah, so I can't wait to see these cars in the rain, though. That's gonna be insane. I think I can bring T-Mac up here for. I just wanted to talk to him for a second.
All right.
And here we have him. Then, man, what a why are you so fast in this track compared to everyone else? Have you practiced a lot?
Not a load of practice. I mainly drive the GT5 Clio Cups and touring car. So yeah, just get on with it well, I guess.
Yeah, well, that was man. You really did well in the sprint race, and then considering how I think you fell back like to the last position twice in the main race.
Yeah, so I didn't know. I wasn't sure if I made contact with someone, so I waited for them. So back to last, worked up to third, I think, and then the leader spun. I hit him, got severe damage, and that was me in the pits. So race pretty much over, but carried on round to pick up a few points.
Yeah, but you've certainly showed up on our radar now. We're gonna watch out for you, dude, because you are fast in this car. So it's gonna be cool to see how you do though in the next rounds. And yeah,
thank you. Fingers crossed. Yeah, for a bit of a cleaner race. But yeah, no, looking forward to it.
We actually loved, like, even though it's not so fun crashing and everything, but it looks so spectacular on the stream though. It's like so many cars running with damage, and yeah.
It looked like from like the first few laps, seeing like 20 cars all going down the hill. That looked pretty cool. So yeah. Looking forward to the next one.
Yeah, thank you again, and good congrats, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, cheers guys.
All right, and with that, we will conclude today's stream. We'll see you guys next week at Oschersleben, same time, like I said, 8 p.m. UK time. I have been Fistopheles, and with me in the commentary box has been
In Salaventus. Thank you again.
And we'll see you again next week. Thanks for watching.